Sports in general, the NFL in specific, you always look for an extra edge. What gives you the motivation? And in this episode of Defending the Kingdom, we're going to give you 3 new Chiefs that fit right into this file. Because what will something to prove for all 3 of these guys, and something to prove in the NFL can be very, very interesting and a great motivating factor. This episode, like them all, is brought to you by Ticketmaster. There's so many awesome events coming up in the next several months throughout the Chiefs Kingdom that Ticketmaster would be your place to go.
Mahomes in the pocket, he'll step up, he'll scramble 10, 5, Mahomes, diving, touchdown, Kansas City.
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, along with senior team reporter of the Kansas City Chiefs, Matt McMullen. I'm kind of fired up today because what seemed like let's just fill in some topic and fill in a show, to me has turned into something else. Particularly when I look at the 3 free agents we're going to talk about that have been in the league, the Chiefs signed in that so-called second wave of free agency. This isn't the crazy days of the first 24 hours or 48 hours. This is kind of a little bit of an aftershock, although one name will be very familiar. The other 2 may not be as much, but something to prove. Did you ever have something to prove?
A few times,
yeah. You've been in the NFL now. Okay, so you've been involved with professional sports for how long?
Professional sports since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, which I would have been a junior in college.
When did you ever face either you can't do it or you felt like, I'm going to prove to somebody I can do this?
Well, in college, when I told people I wanted to work in sports, and originally I wanted to be like a sports writer.
This is at Mizzou, by the way. Right?
Yeah, I would just get everyone wants to do that. You have to find like a real job. Like everybody wants to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. That motivated me for sure.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, every single internship I had, because I worked in minor league baseball for a while and then eventually Major League Baseball and now the Chiefs, obviously. Every step along the way, it was everybody wants to do that. There's no way you're going to be able to stand out amongst everybody else. And I think that motivated me to prove everybody wrong. Yeah.
Was it a professor or a couple people that said that, or is there a face that you see?
Well, so there'd be like teachers, other students, but also there was one person I remember because my sister moved out to California years ago because she wanted to pursue like an acting career. And we did like Thanksgiving out in California with some people that she had met. And one of her new friends' moms was trying to like dissuade me entirely from a sports career. Like, don't do it. That's not a real job. Like, you're not going to find success. It's not worth it, over and over again. And like, it was like the worst Thanksgiving ever, but it like stuck with me. I'm like, I'm going to prove this lady wrong, So anyway, here we are.
And it still motivates you.
It sure does. Yeah.
Yeah. Been there too. A couple different things. One was had been doing college ball for a long time. Was voice of K-State, right? And involved there and kind of created a lot of their marketing department in sports. But people were saying, man, you have the level to be a professional announcer. I'd looked at it and thought, okay. So I kind of put my toe in the water. There was a baseball job that might be very close to here, the television job, where I was told, this looks really good. Looks like you're the guy. And in 24 hours, it changed.
Oh, man.
I kid you not. Then there was it'll be in the book that you'll help me write, the trip to Chicago. And that was the interview at WGN to be either Bears or Cubs. They were looking at both ways. And so I was highly recommended. There was like 300 people that were up for this job. This looks really good. Now, getting there was a whole other story. That'll be the story in the book because it was one of the coldest days ever, and my car froze on the interstate. I'm just going to tell you, that's a whole other story. Point is, I got to the altar, but no wedding. Minnesota Vikings, okay? Get to the final 5 of the Minnesota Vikings. It's in the St. Paul Pioneer Press, Minneapolis Tribune. They had the finalists. Didn't make it.
Could have had a touchdown, Minnesota.
Yeah, but Paul Allen's got it now. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
The point is that, no, I can do this, and I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm going to get there. And then my first job out of college was not in the pro ranks. It was doing high school in 35 high schools, junior college sports, and I was selling advertising so I could eat with my new wife, who I still have. It was awesome. But the owner of that station was not a great guy. Okay. And he was going to make me sign a non-compete. And I go, I'm not going to sign that. And he goes, you'll never amount to anything.
He said that to you?
He took me to a hotel in this town and I thought he's going to kill me. He's going to wipe me out, right? It's the scene in The Godfather, right? You're in the back seat, like take the cannolis, leave the gun. And
Just verbally, apparently.
I'm seriously, I'm like 23 years old, and I go, he's going to kill me. He goes, you'll never amount to anything. I still see that face.
Yeah, I bet.
So
where's that guy at now? Does he listen to Chiefs games on the radio?
he might be. That's a whole other story. Okay. He might be watching this podcast.
Might be. Hello to you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Anyway, there are motivations that will carry players, people in other forms of life. But these three we're going to talk about today, when you dive into them, you really see that they could become something with the Kansas City Chiefs in one way, shape, or form, and it's because they have something to prove. Now, before we get into that, let's go around the world. What do we have?
Yes, sir. I got two for you today.
All right.
And these are both like out in the wild ones, like real
And
people that I
Tyquan
see.
Thornton might be wearing two, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
He's going to wear two. Like,
I'm glad Tyquan's back. We talked about that on our
Yeah.
last episode. But, I mean, think about last year whenever we needed a spark, like a big play. He was that guy last year. And excited for him to come in and have that confidence to be even more of a guy this year. So
you talked about the Giants game. I'm not sure we win that game if that. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Broncos game in Denver, the reason we were in it was because of him.
Yep.
The Eagles game, I believe he had a big play. Like, could go on and on. Excited for Tyquan.
And most football guys now want single digits. Linemen know they can't have it, but everybody else, DBs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, we have a former college quarterback that's helping shoot this. They all want single digits. So it looks like Tyquan, since Joshua Williams is gone, might be number two.
What if we went the other way? Remember the quarterback at Michigan that was like 98 or something?
Oh, yeah, Tom Harmon.
Yeah.
Go back in the old days. It was like, why is 87 a quarterback? Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
And then some of these, we're just going off the rails here. I was doing some offensive line draft breakdowns earlier, and Spencer Fano from Utah wears 55.
Yeah.
It's weird.
As a tackle.
Yeah, right tackle, 55.
That's what a center is supposed to wear.
Right. Okay. Anyway, around the world, two for you today. Shout out to Mario. So Ellie and I were walking back from lunch downtown on Saturday, and Mario came up and said hi. So shout out to you, Mario. Thanks for saying hi. And then shout out to Madison. Those of you out there that know me well know that I love Chili's. It's one of my favorite establishments. Love going to Chili's. You know, if you're ever worried about the economy, go to Chili's. You'll not be worried about the economy
Chips and salsa
anymore.
are pretty good.
I'm actually a Chili's member, so I get free chips and salsa. Like, I'm like,
You can be
Ellie,
a
I
season
got
ticket
this.
holder at Chili's?
I got this. Yeah.
You have a suite?
I should. I'd love to.
Parking?
I thought I was being really funny too because Ellie got me like a Chili's hat for Christmas as like a gag gift, and I wore the hat to this dinner the other night. And while I'm sitting there in my Chili's hat, Madison comes up and says hi. So shout out to you, Madison. Thanks for not making fun of me for being a total goober at Chili's.
No,
But
it's great.
yeah, shout out to Madison. Shout out to Mario.
I've been in a food coma once because of that chips and salsa.
It just keeps coming.
Keeps coming. And there's thin chips. And,
Yeah, it's
good
great.
salsa. I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
I've got one real quick because we just went on our little sabbatical for the spring with my awesome wife. And we've done this for our 40-plus years of marriage. As crazy as our lives are, we've tried to preserve time. It was just 4 days, maybe 5, where you date each other again, you get away, and it's awesome. We're walking along the beach, and this guy goes, "Hey, like you're that guy."
You can't escape.
I go, "Yeah, what's going on?" He's like, "You were at our spring break location 3 years ago." Can't make it up. This is a long way away where we were in the States. But 3 years ago, we were in St. Louis. We took our granddaughters over to St. Louis for a little kind of staycation thingy real quick. And they were there at the same spot.
No way.
No, I couldn't believe it either. Don't know the cat's name, but he's like, "You were there 3." I'm like, okay, somebody's following somebody here. So anyway, I just thought, okay, can't make that up.
Did he know like who you were with the Chiefs and everything?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah. He's from
yeah.
Kansas
Okay,
City.
gotcha. How
He
funny.
goes, "Hey, you guys 3 years ago were like, like same spring break location. Now you're here, and this location is probably what 1,800 miles away from St. Louis.
You going to start coordinating?
No, we won't do that. We don't coordinate with anyone, actually. We try to go hide.
Yeah.
So anyway, but these 3 free agents, something to prove, and we're going to jump right into Cater Kohou, because who? And we faced this guy in the game in Germany back in 2023 as a D-back for the Miami Dolphins. Now, I've learned in 33 years of the NFL, there are some things that motivate players, especially on a second contract, a second spin around that. And here's Cater's 2 that fit into the category that we're talking about here. 1, he played Division II football. Now, Texas A&M Commerce, this is in the northeast end of the metro, but not far. This is getting in Patrick Mahomes' range. Not quite to the Piney Woods, but up in there. And he went to Euless High School in Trinity, which is well known. But Cater played Division II football. Now, since then, East Texas A&M, which is now called, has gone to FCS, basically 1AA, and a good conference, the Southland Conference. At the time, they were Division II. We have seen, both of us, Division II players, Division III, NAIA players, make it in the NFL, but they've got an extra little push to them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Quinn Miners, right? Got to put out even an opponent who's outstanding. It was a Division III player.
Yeah.
Now,
Wisconsin Whitewater.
Whitewater, and he's, we know all about him being a Denver Bronco offensive lineman. Cater played Division II football. The second thing would be coming back from injury. Cater, even though he's an undrafted free agent, there's another one, 3 actually. Cater fits 3 here. Division II player, undrafted free agent. How many times? Cooper McDonald, right? We can sit here and look guys who are undrafted free agents. They're showing, you didn't draft me, watch me make it in this league, watch me become a player. Cater has done that. 3, coming back from injury. Devastating ACL injury in training camp last year. After this guy, and you got some great stats on him, but he played 88% of the snaps as an undrafted free agent rookie, and this is the same secondary that had Javon Holland and Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
Right? These guys weren't awful. Then we saw him in Germany, and 85% of the snaps. And so he's played a lot of football, has the ACL, goes down, and now he's starting over. But he's got Division II, undrafted free agent. Watch this. Watch me come back from an ACL.
So you and I have both had opportunities to speak at the rookie dinner over the years, which I always think is one of the coolest events that we do here.
It's awesome.
So obviously we bring in our draft class immediately after the draft for rookie minicamp, but it's also all of our undrafted free agents and the 60-plus tryout players that are here. 95% of which will not be here after those 3 days, but they're all invited to the rookie dinner. And it's so much fun to speak to those guys and to remind them, hey, you're in a place that's going to give you an opportunity. And you can see, like in some of the players out in the group, you can see in their eyes, like, I'm not going to waste this. And Cater for Miami was one of those guys. It's so cool to think that he came in with nothing promised, like no guarantees. And not only did he make the team back when he first got signed to the Dolphins, he was like a starter, a contributor for them, to the point where if he hadn't gotten hurt last year, I think he'd be in line for probably a pretty decent contract. Now, he has to prove it again, right? But look at what he did before the injury. A couple things stand out to me. So first, experience. 38 career starts for the Dolphins from 2022 through 24. This isn't a guy that you're just projecting, saying, hey, if he had more opportunities, I think he could really contribute. He played for them and played well. The scheme fit is also interesting. Mostly a slot corner for them, which frankly we could use, especially with Trent McDuffie no longer being here. Cater is a player with a ton of experience playing the slot and playing it really well, and not just as a cover guy, but also as a blitzer off the edge. Did a little bit of that with the Dolphins, and Steve Spagnuolo obviously values that. Really productive. So 28 passes defensed during his time with Miami. He was one of just 12 players to record at least 8 pass breakups in each season from 2022 through 2024. And this is a fun one. It's like an advanced metric. In 2024, he ranked 6th among all corners in terms of yards allowed per coverage snap. So this guy's a really solid slot corner that had a bad break last year with the ACL injury, but you trust your doctors, trust your trainers. If they feel like he's ready to go, hopefully sooner than later, he can get out there and hopefully pick right up where he left off.
The other thing that translates from, I don't care what level of college you play, FCS, FBS, Division II, III, NAIA, that translates to the pros is a DB that gets marks. And I mean things happen. If you look at what he did, Cater Kohou, at East Texas A&M, 5 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 defensive touchdowns, and a block kick. All right, well, in the pros, okay, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. You mentioned the pass defense, 2 fumble recoveries. Here's the other thing of why he's a scheme fit. I love the slot. Slot blitzer, covers in the slot. Not afraid. The dude has got a lot of courage. In 3 years, 180 tackles. Who does that sound like? The corners that have played here since Spags has been here. The other one that got my attention, we talked about that he played against us in Germany. You know the other game he played against us? The -28 wind chill game.
Yeah, I sure did.
He was in his rookie year, played the wind chill game against us, -28 wind chill, when it seemed like most of the Dolphins really didn't want to be here in that 26-7 glorious wild card victory on the way to Super Bowl 58. In that game, Cater had 7 tackles and was one of the leaders for both teams in that game, in a -28 wind chill game. That's all I got to know.
Yeah.
Give the guy a chance. And I didn't know much about him. I went back and looked at my boards, right, from those games, and I thought, okay. Then I dug into him, and I thought, no, he's got something to prove.
Yeah, I think you're right. And one other thing that stands out to me is, team reporters talk, right? Like we'll chat about certain players that we like.
You're like scouts, right?
Yeah, well, particularly when the players go from team to team. So I did this with McDuffie, like myself and Stu Jackson with the Rams were chatting about Trent McDuffie and what to expect with them, some storylines, stuff like that. Travis with the Dolphins reached out to me immediately and said, you guys are going to love Cater. So that's all I need to know. I'm fired up about this guy.
That's so cool. So when you're with, you'll say like Gabe from Liberty, the guy that was a quarterback, kind of wide receiver. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, same deal.
Tell me about him, right?
Tell me about it. The second one. So, all right. Think Cater Kohou. The Chiefs might get more here than you think. All right.
And particularly while we're remaking our secondary a little bit here, where don't have Jalen in town, don't have Trent. We're going to give Noel Williams an opportunity, I presume.
Right.
Christian Fulton is in this mix. But adding a player like Cater who can play that slot, you feel good about plugging him in there, assuming he's healthy. That's a big deal.
Or if you draft a corner, wink, wink, nod, nod, that you could, either at 9 or 29 or 40 or 74, who could start from day one, snap one, then you have confidence in your nickel to play a Cater who's got a lot of experience in that nickel position. And he was used in the nickel position the way the Chiefs use their nickels.
Exactly.
Not all nickels are used the same.
No.
Okay. So here's where Cater, something to prove, checks 3 of the boxes. Played Division II, wants to prove he can play with the big boys, already has. 2, undrafted free agent. Want to prove that he can play with the big boys, already has. 3, I'll come back from this ACL, that he is not, but he's gonna.
Yeah.
All right? So fired up about him. The other one, 2 of 3, is Amari Demercado. And when we signed him, I thought, I remember we played him in the preseason, played him some, and I thought.
He had a big play against us in the preseason.
He did. It was awesome. That's what kind of caught my attention. Like, who's this guy? And when you look at Amari Demercado, you TC Horned Frog fans that are Chiefs Kingdom fans remember him. But here's one of the boxes that he checks in the I'm going to prove it to you I can play in the NFL. JUCO player. Now, I started, as I told you on the outset of this podcast, in the junior college ranks. And I've seen many guys go from the junior college ranks to National Football League stardom. Okay, and the Jayhawk JUCO, which is one of the premier junior college leagues in the country, is right under our nose here in the Chiefs Kingdom. Same NEO, A&M in Miami, Oklahoma. It's right there. All right. He plays at Saddleback Community College.
I knew you'd love that.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about this. I'm all about it. And the fact that he went to high school in L.A., he goes to Saddleback Community College and then plays at TCU, 5 years at TCU after 1 year at Saddleback. Both these guys had played a long time in college. Same thing with Cater. But Amari Demercado, to me, has something to prove because he's a JUCO player. Oh, wait a minute. See if this sounds familiar. Undrafted free agent. Was not drafted out of TCU and became a player for Arizona. All right, third thing he has to prove is something happens in your career that seemingly defines you, and you're going, that does not define me. And that was the fumble at the goal line last year at the end of what would have been a 72-yard touchdown run that Amari gets credit for a 71-yard run but let go of the ball before the end zone. We've seen Jonathan Gannon, the sideline exchange. Amari's devastated by the play. You think he wants something to prove? He goes, that ain't me. Because he said, that ain't me. And actually he played really good football after that, saying that one play will not define me. That, to me, excites me about Amari Demercado.
100%. And, holding on to the ball and crossing the goal line, that's an easily correctable thing. I doubt that ever happens to him ever again. It's one of those things where you make a mistake and you say, I'm going to make sure I never do that again. The difficult part of that play is the 71-yard run, and he can handle that part. Don't change that, right? And, the dude's explosive. Didn't have a lot of carries in Arizona, only 126, but he made the most of every single one of them. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry during his time there. A lot of big plays, obviously. Ripped off 20 runs of double-digit yardage during his career, doing so on 15.9% of his carries. He doesn't have enough carries to qualify in that category in terms of the leaders over the last 3 seasons, but if he did, he would lead the NFL in that category. For comparison's sake, Devon Achane, of course, maybe the most explosive back in football right now, he's at 15.6%. So not a lot of carries, but on those carries, certainly made the most of them. And, holding on to the football, I'm sure, will be a priority for him. I doubt he ever makes that mistake again. I'm not even worried about that at all. The thing I'm most excited about, though, with this guy, beyond just the explosiveness, the pass pro. He can pass protect. He spent at least 18% of his total snaps in each of the last 3 seasons in pass protection, allowing just 8 pressures on 104 snaps. For guys like this, we always try to compare him to Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon is like the gold standard. Jerick was an explosive player, a spark plug player, but he was an awesome pass protector, awesome. And I think about Amari Demercado, he kind of fits that mold for me. So really fired up about this. Brett said that we were going to get more explosive at running back. He wasn't lying. We got Kenneth Walker. We got Amari Demercado. I'm excited about it.
And the pass pro thing is really exciting because I go back. I'm a little bit like Tim Terry now. I go back and look at his draft analysis.
Sure.
He was not drafted, coming out of TCU, and the big knock on him was pass protection. And look what he's done in his career in the NFL. The other thing is you mentioned the touches. How many fumbles do you think he had with the Arizona Cardinals with 176 touches?
I'm guessing not many.
1.
Yeah.
The only one was the one at the goal line.
Wow.
So
and that was self-forced. It wasn't like he. Yeah, that's good news right there.
Another one in 5 years at TCU, 1 fumble. Okay, you're saying, well, wasn't that many touches? He's a third down back. Yeah, that's perfect. Here's my next favorite stat about Amari Demercado. Who was the best defense last year in the NFL?
Oh, gosh. Now I'm on the spot. I've wiped last year clean from my mind. Denver?
Yeah, they're right there, but I'd put Seattle right in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's Seattle. That's the answer, yeah.
The longest play Seattle gave up all year was to Amari Demercado, at least a run, I should say, of 55 yards.
Wow.
Against the Seattle Seahawks. I've watched it 10 times, and it's a legitimate run against a great defense. The longest run the Chiefs had last year was 35 yards by Xavier Worthy.
Yeah. We had 3 runs of 20 or more yards last year.
Oh, my gosh. The year before, going to the Super Bowl, was Isaiah Pacheco at 34. Now you got to go all the way back to October 1 of 2023 when Pop Pacheco had the 48-yarder New Jersey Turnpike run right on Sunday Night Football against the Jets in front of his home crowd. Amari Demercado in 23 had a 49-yard touchdown against San Francisco. Pretty good defense.
Yeah.
In 24, he had a 53-yard touchdown run against Chicago, a 41-yard run against the Rams, the aforementioned 71 and 55-yard runs last year. All of those runs would have classified as the longest run by a Kansas City Chief the last 3 years.
Wow.
So I get fired up. I get chills down my spine talking about the potential of Amari Demercado. JUCO player, check the box. All right? Undrafted free agent, check the box. Something to prove. And third, a really motivating factor, he doesn't want that play that's all over the reels of the NFL season of 25 to be the defining play for him. And I'm going to bet $100 right now to anybody that's listening or watching this podcast that he will redeem himself from that play. I can't wait to see this kid work.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we're both really excited about Brashard Smith moving
Yeah,
forward.
heck
I think
yeah.
Brashard showed a lot at the end of last year, really solid in that Raiders game.
And explosive to fit your explosive theme.
Exactly. So now you look at this running back room. We have Ken Walker, all right, one of the best running backs in all of football. You have Amari Demercado, who we've been talking about, who not a lot of touches, but every time he touched it seemed to go for 30 yards, right? And a young player in Brashard Smith, who we believe in. That's a really good group. That's an explosive group. And I truly believe, like I've talked about for weeks on our podcast, adding an explosive element to the running game is going to change everything for this offense. I think really in many ways we were playing with like both hands tied behind our back at times last year because our running game was not explosive and our play action passing game as a result was not very effective. Well, you have to respect this running game now. You have to respect it because any of these guys at any moment could take the ball for a 45-yard touchdown, and we just didn't have that last year.
Matt and I, at an undisclosed location in downtown Kansas City, have an annual luncheon.
A summit.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
That is the who's going to be the third down back luncheon. After Jerick McKinnon, you talk about the gold standard. It's why I love getting Samaj P. Ryan, and I wept when we lost him. Okay, and we get to the Super Bowl because of him. Amari Demercado can be this guy. And watch him run draws and screens because he's patient. He gets it. He understands it. So a third down back, what do they have to do? They better pass protect or you're not going to have that job. You already covered that. Draws, screens, provide a big play. And these draws, and there was one 3rd and 5 play. I looked at it. Against the Rams, the 41-yarder is a 3rd and 5 play. They did it thinking, well, they're going to throw. It's a throwing formation. And then he turns it into a 41-yard run against a good defense. I'm more fired up about this than I thought I was going to be.
You know how Kels and Greg Olson and Kittle started tight end U?
Yeah.
I think McKinnon and P. Ryan should start third down back U.
I know where we're going to have the banquet.
Where's that?
Where we have our
at our summit location.
Yeah, our summit
yes.
location. We'll invite all third down backs around the league,
Yes.
and then we'll have our third down back of the year award.
If you want to be a third down back, come to Kansas City and come to our summit. Yeah.
We love it. We value third down backs.
We do.
On defending the kingdom.
We do.
So should you. Just as well, I can't win in my fantasy draft with him. No, you win football games
You
with him.
sure do.
All right, the third one you all know about because he's been all over social media and regular media ever since he was a 5-star player in the state of Georgia. Kennesaw, Georgia. He signs at Georgia. Then he goes to Ohio State. Kind of a controversial move, but then at Ohio State did incredible things. The 11th pick by Matt Nagy and the Chicago Bears in Matt's last year in 2021. We're talking about Justin Fields here. And Justin Fields is now a Kansas City Chief. And that's one of those where people go, what? Justin Fields is a Kansas City Chief? All right. What does he have to prove? A couple things. One, he's not just a running quarterback, because when you're on the same line with Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick and you're the only 3 on that line, that's pretty good. And which is what he did is his rushing total when he was with the Bears. 2, even as a high drafted player, remember we talked about undrafted free agents, but as a high drafted player, I'm going to prove that I can play to that pick and be in the role here as a terrific vice president to Patrick Mahomes. And so that's where we're at with Justin Fields.
I think one of the many reasons we have been so successful since Coach Reed got here is the stability that he provides. There is stability here for players to come in and to reach their full potential. I think that's why a lot of times you have players that didn't work out elsewhere. They come here and it works because there is stability. If you look at Justin Fields' career, there has just not been a ton of stability for him wherever he's been. He has not had an opportunity, in my opinion, to really reach his full potential at any of his stops just because of the lack of infrastructure at times in place from an offensive standpoint. Things have snowballed over time in those places and just couldn't climb out of it because that stability wasn't there.
Yeah.
That stability is here. And if he is going to reach his full potential, it will be here. And I'm excited about that. If there's one time in his career that I think he really put it together, it was in Pittsburgh. So in Pittsburgh, because Russell Wilson was hurt, he began the season as the Steelers starter. they went 4-2 in the games that he started. In the only 2 games he lost by a combined 6 points. And he played well in those games, had a quarterback rating over 90, kept him obviously in every game, really competitive. And then when Wilson came back, Fields went back to the bench. Kind of another example of how there wasn't even stability there in Pittsburgh. So I think for Fields, all the talent in the world, that's obvious. And at times we've seen flashes of it. I think he just needs a coaching staff and a stable environment for him to go out there and thrive. And he's going to have that opportunity during the offseason training program to get us through this time. And then when Mahomes is back, you have a veteran, experienced, dynamic player behind him that you can count on to go in there and win a game if he needs to. And also, even when Mahomes is healthy, there's things you could do with Justin Fields because of his incredible athleticism. So, yeah, I'm excited about this. And I'm excited for Justin because I think here he has a chance to truly become the player that he is.
And he has 8 NFL records. Justin Fields has 8 National Football League records. What he did in 2022 when he ran for almost 1,150 yards was phenomenal. 178 yards against Miami. That's an NFL record for a quarterback running the ball. But it's also been the injuries, Matt. If you go back through his NFL career, in 21, his rookie year, he's humming along pretty good with Negs. So going okay. Ribs, ankle. Okay, flat tire. 22, we talked about in 22, the high productivity year. Ankle, shoulder. The big one is in 23. In fact, he lost at Kansas City that year. We played him. He had one game where he was 16 out of 16 against Denver.
That was the first game that Taylor was at. That was a crazy day.
And I think that's in the notes here. So that's another reason Justin Fields was, I've got to go back. Maybe Taylor will come back to my game. The right thumb injury got him that year. Like that right thumb injury took Justin Fields off the track. And so then he goes to Pittsburgh. Chicago gives up on him. Basically, they move on, go to Caleb Williams. Then in Pittsburgh, but he had an abdominal injury in Pittsburgh. And then with the Jets last year, a concussion, knee injury. Every year there's been something. So another box to check is I can do this. I've proven I can do. I've got 8 NFL records. I'll be a good soldier, instability, but I can play to that 11th pick. And I'm going to prove to you that I can stay healthy and do it. I think those are all reasons Justin Fields is got a reason to be a good quarterback here in Kansas City.
And I was talking about how Brett wasn't messing around with getting us more explosive. Well, Justin Fields is pretty explosive as well. You can find ways to have him impact the game even when Patrick is healthy, and I'm excited about that.
There will be plays. They're going to be in there at the same time. You don't think they won't? There won't be. There's a little Steelers in this.
I'm the biggest proponent of a dual quarterback set. I love it. Yes.
Pat will line up in the Wildcat direct snap. He goes out at wide receiver. One of these days we'll throw him a pass.
Yes. He wants it badly, I think.
Maybe Fields will throw it to him.
There we go.
Because now if you put Fields in that Wildcat role and Pat's the wide receiver, I'm just telling you, I got a feeling it's somewhere Andy Reid called Mike Tomlin and goes, hey, you know what? What do you think if we try this?
Yeah, I'm into that plan.
I am too.
Yes.
It'd be kind of fun. Do you think we'll see it in OTAs?
Maybe.
And
then we'll file that one away until week
Maybe
17.
Not, because Pat won't be out there in OTAs, right? Probably.
That's true.
Training camp.
We'll see it.
We'll see it.
Yeah, and then file it away, and we won't see it again for 3 months, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, there it is.
I thought this was going to be a Defending the Kingdom episode that we are just going to fill in the gap, do a week, and we may have Kelsey next week, right?
Hope so.
But hey, we're
so glad he's back.
What are we going to do to fill it? And then I started getting into these guys. And then you and I started to talk. And then I started to realize that every one of these guys has something to prove.